Hi, this is Jeff Moore. I'm going to be briefly discussing my newest books, Spiny Succulents. I have a small nursery in Solana Beach, California, just north of San Diego. That's me hugging a cactus there. It's what I've been doing for a long time. This is my fourth book on cactus and succulents. My first was Under the Spell of Succulents, about the whole hobby, followed by aloes and agaves in cultivation, and soft succulents. So the yang to the yin of that book is my new book on spiny succulents. A cactus is the first thing that comes to mind, but it's not exclusively cactus. It's also Euphorbias and other plants you'll see shortly. And it's also not all about the spines. Some of these are beautiful blooming plants. I'd argue that some of the cactus are some of the most beautiful blooming plants in the world, as you can see right there at a grower's field. I discussed briefly not even briefly, in some detail, collectors and growers. These are some of the most collectible, varied forms of plants you'll ever see. An example are some of the crested cactus, the mutation known as cresting or cristate growth, which happens across the plant world, but it's stunningly so sometimes in the world of cactus. Plants such as this, Trichoceros pachinoi, they're almost like little living Picassos, also very easy to keep alive. And we talked briefly about the phenomenon of variegation, where you get the yellow or white striping as chlorophyll imbalance that makes them very artistic plants. So collectors love both crested and variegated plants. These books are primarily about plants in cultivation, but I do like to open certain sections with some habitat shots so you can see where they're from. So there's a little bit of discussion of plants in their native Africa or Mexico or wherever they're from, but it's mostly about growing the plants here in the Southwest U.S. I group them according more to size and similarity than alphabetically. So I start with the cactus section, for example, with the large cacti, the saguaros, the cardones. There's a crested saguaro bottom left in that photo. And to discuss the various, group them according, again, to look. By looks, there's the various fuzzy, hairy ones. There's blue cacti. There's a range of collector plants. The Copiapoas top left, that's on the beach in Chile, where they are from. Turbinocarpus, there's quite a few gorgeous small flowering cacti, so those I show as many as I can in this book. And then after the cactus section, we have the Euphorbias, which some of them are very cactus looking, but they're quite different plants, primarily African. They're crown of thorns, bottom right, are some of the most beautiful bloomers. That sticks on fire in the top right in that image. There's globular mounding Euphorbias, some spiny, some not. Medusoid forms, bottom right. There's a series of collector Euphorbias that are kind of small and really lend themselves to fantastic presentations such as these in small pots. If you get a chance to visit your local cactus and succulent show, you'll see what some of these look like in person. And then there's another group. There are many other groups of spiny succulents. Alawadias on the left, the Madagascar palm on the right. They're basically spiny plumerias. And there are other related semi-succulent plants, such as the terrestrial bromeliads that are full sun xerophytic desert plants. That's an example of a puya flower right there on the left. In this particular picture, on the following display here, we see some of the beautiful colors that we get with these full sun terrestrial bromeliads, primarily hecteas and puyas. And I even discussed some of the other semi-spiny, not really spiny bromeliads and a few related plants towards the end of the book. It's the Spiny Succulents is a heavy book. It's about 340 pages, almost 2,000 images, and I think you'll really enjoy it. It's available at Sunbelt. Thanks.